Hey everybody, it's SilverOrpheus and welcome back to the Pokemon Showdown Monotype Tournament highlights. Last time we went and recorded myself and we did Stone Cold Williams match. Today we're finally here in Grand Finals, which is kind of the same thing as what we already recorded. But to make things different, I have a guest with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Joshua Archer, and this is my grand final. It's me versus Hunter here.
Yeah, this is GeneralJFA, the man I'm playing against right now. But while this is going ahead and playing, we're pretty much just gonna be doing like an entire nice long conversation. So let's go ahead and get this started. So, what were you thinking about when you created this team? Because I remember you were the most gung ho person about this tournament.
Yeah, what I was thinking mostly when I created this team is how can I have good coverage against my weaknesses, but I also wanted to make sure that my Pokemon were strong enough going up against a team where I could use my strength. I didn't want to just get one hit kill even though I had coverage. I wanted to get a team that would be able to cover without getting killed.
Hence the Lugia. Because that thing was just, no matter what you were, that thing could just take a hit.
Yes, multi-scale is an amazing ability.
Yeah. Another thing about your team, Josh, is that I noticed going into the grand final set that your team lacks ghost coverage.
Yes, it doesn't exactly have the best ghost coverage. That's why I struggled against your Sableye, but I did beat Jude.
You did beat Jude, yeah, which was actually very good considering how little ghost coverage that you had.
Yep.
One thing that I can recommend to you if you do decide to go mono psychic again, add Malamar to your team.
Sounds interesting.
Malamar is a psychic dark type. It's a psychic dark type that gets very strong, high crit moves, and it also gets the contrary ability, allowing it to use superpower with significant ease.
Yes.
So that thing's just monstrous. Might I recommend choice banded Malamar with superpower?
That sounds interesting.
But yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking about too with my team. I was thinking about how can I cover all of these weaknesses? Because Dark, while it doesn't have the most weaknesses of any single type, Dark has more weaknesses than you'd think.
Yes.
It has a weakness to Bug. It's weak to Fighting, and it's weak to Fairy. So.
Yes.
And Josh pretty much came prepared with all three of those types in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because Lugia had Signal Beam, your Medicham had Fighting moves, and so did Gardevoir, and your Gardevoir also had Fairy coverage.
Yeah.
So you were very much prepared for Dark types, but after seeing Lugia with Signal Beam and all this stuff, I'm like, oh, you want to play like that? I can play with that too, buddy, and just slapped a ghost move on every single one of my Pokemon.
That was definitely unexpected.
I mean, not only that, but I also decided to get rid of Life Orb on Yveltal and replace it with Choice Scarf.
Yes, that was a good move.
It was, because and another thing was that I knew it'd work, because what ended up happening was that to make sure that it did work, I went to a damage calculator site that Showdown has. I looked up,
Yes.
I figured out all the natures of all your Pokemon, like this Medicham, for example. I figured out you were max speed Medicham, and so I was
Yes, I am.
I decided what I decided to do is that I'm gonna Choice Scarf this Yveltal. This way I can Oblivion Wing it. But at the same time, I also have Shadow Ball in case I lock myself into that. So
Yes.
overall, good play. You're gonna say something?
Definitely a great move. It was honestly
Yeah.
was completely unexpected on my part.
Yeah, and like that was something that I always knew that an issue that you had was like ghost coverage. And
Yep.
probably the greatest play that happened to me that I could probably say gave me the entire tournament was the fact that I decided to hide Shadow Sneak on my Greninja.
Yeah.
Because you weren't expecting that when you Choice Scarfed your Gardevoir in the second set. And what ended up happening after that is that you kind of lost your ace afterwards. So with Gardevoir down, I kind of had like all what I needed to take out Lugia.
It was true, although multi-scale still made it pretty difficult at first.
It did, but that was and that's what I anticipated too. So I gave Sableye something else that could deal with it quite more effectively. Toxic.
I don't think people realize how good Lugia is, especially in competitive.
Oh, people know that Lugia is good. The only thing is that people don't know how to use a tank like Lugia.
Yeah.
And the thing about Lugia is, and this is kind of what shocked me, when I bought this thing for the first time, I was expecting you to have Aeroblast. And I'm like, what Lugia doesn't have Aeroblast? It's like a 140 stab flying type move that has a high crit ratio.
Yep.
So, why Josh didn't bring its Lugia's signature move is kind of strange.
Maybe because...
You probably wanted more coverage, that's probably why.
Yeah. It's definitely because of the more coverage, but yeah. It's 100 damage, by the way.
It's 100? Okay.
Yeah, 100 with 95%.
I might be thinking because it's stab. But Lugia is a really nasty issue they like to come across. And I just realized there's actually a chance for us to deal with this thing again. Because in the second Monotype tournament that we're doing, Elijah got flying.
Oh, yeah.
So Elijah can bring the Lugia if he so chose. That's not going to end well for me because, like... Well, yeah. I do have some good Pokemon on my team. The big problem is that they're all bug types and weak to Aeroblast.
Yeah. Elijah would probably...
Elijah would decimate me. And the problem is that he decimates Ben too. Because I know what one of Elijah's Pokemon is, knowing that he got flying. He's gonna bring a Charizard.
Lugia is the absolute greatest Pokemon that I chose for my team.
Oh, it certainly is. I believe when it comes down to all your Pokemon, I think the two that gave me the biggest problems were the Medicham and the Lugia. Medicham's speed was just too much for me to work with, and the only thing that could really get rid of it was a C-move Hydro Pump from Greninja. I couldn't go into Yveltal because I would be sacrificing a high jump kick, which I knew one-shot me. And then and even when I tried going with Crocodile, high jump kick was still too powerful. Even with the Intimidate drop, it still just killed me.
Yes. Most of the reason is why I had a Mega Medicham, so I could have good coverage against dark types. Because Psychic is a powerful type, but also because Medicham isn't really worth it without the Mega Evolution.
I mean, it's worth it. I mean, it still has pure power on its own, but with its Mega Evolution, it's just great.
Yep.
And then another Pokemon that you could have Mega Evolved if you decide not to Mega Medicham was Alakazam. Mega Alakazam actually has like better defenses. It has like super high special attack. Its speed is through the roof. And then all that. Also, I just realized you have 4 Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. The Alakazam, the Medicham, the Alakazam, the Gardevoir, and the Metagross. So you kind of just brought a team where you had you pretty much had a team where your opponent was left in the dark on which Pokemon was going to be the Mega.
Yeah.
And I believe most people in this particular situation would least expect the Medicham. Because Medicham already gets Pure Power as its ability. And then what ends up happening is that most people are more set for Mega Alakazam, Mega Gardevoir, and Mega Metagross, because those are the more common Megas.
Yes.
And then when they finally figure out that the Mega is the Medicham, it's already too late. They're kind of just dead. Delphox was a Pokemon that honestly shocked me that you had. Because I'm like...
Delphox? Yeah, of course. Ice coverage is a little important there, as in I need to have good coverage against Ice-type Pokemon.
I feel like you already had that.
Delphox is on there because it's a super fast... Not only is it a super fast Pokemon,
yeah,
but it still has high special attack.
It does. But like what?
From a Z move, Fiery and Z.
Oh yeah. I feel like if you were to reuse this team, I feel like the most redundant choice that you could have gotten rid of was the Delphox.
Yeah.
Because you already do have ice coverage in the form of Medicham and Metagross.
Mm.
So like having that Delphox there was kind of redundant in that kind of sense. But you did have good steel coverage with Delphox. But again, steel is kind of like a redundant type coverage to have when you have Medicham over there.
Mm.
I feel like Malamar would have done really well on your team, and it might have even gave you the tournament, because Malamar has a ghost resistance.
I would definitely pick Malamar my second time over Delphox, because I feel like all my other Pokemon have a place.
Yeah.
But perhaps adding a Malamar is what I need.
And like, you can do that for the next Monotype tournament, because, well, not for the next one, but the one after the one we're doing now for Dark Hour.
Yes.
Because what I'm doing for Dark Hour is that I'm allowing all combatants to choose whatever type they want to use, regardless of if it's taken or not. So like you can go back with another Psychic team without worrying if somebody else has a Psychic team. So it's like really good in that sense.
Yes.
2, I believe if Malamar was on your team, the only Pokemon that I have that could even possibly stand up to it is Absol.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of funny because Absol is like the only Pokemon on my team that felt like it didn't really have a place in this battle.
Yeah.
Because like no matter what I put my Absol against, it was just like you just outsped me and you just hit it with like a move that just pretty much made it useless.
Yeah, I believe Absol might not have been the best choice for a Mega Pokemon, especially since he took so much damage.
But the only reason why I decided to Mega Absol in this particular situation was because I didn't want to Mega Sableye.
Yeah.
And 2, I also gave Absol a Mega because 1, Absol has more variety than Sableye.
True.
2, both Pokemon share the same ability when Mega evolved. Magic Bounce.
Yeah.
And 2 and 3, that Magic Bounce ability was coverage just in case somebody decided to Toxic me.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was kind of redundant too, because Bisharp already has a Toxic immunity, so...
Yeah.
There's pretty much that, but the issue with Bisharp against this team was that 1, you had you had Delphox over there. 2, you had Medicham. Yeah. So Bisharp was kind of just locked down against anything that wasn't like an Alakazam. Well, actually no, because Bisharp could have beat your Gardevoir too until I realized it had Focus Blast. That's kind of just how you play Pokemon. Like you kind of have to preserve your moves for like until like a time where you have to reveal it. You have like no choice.
Mm.
Because like that's when I decided that I was gonna reveal Shadow Sneak against you with Greninja. Because it's either I Shadow Sneak this Gardevoir to death, or I die and lose this tournament.
Yeah. It's true.
Because what would you say is your MVP throughout this entire tournament?
My MVP was Lugia.
Lugia, yeah. That thing was just that thing just carried you pretty much. I feel like Jude would have beat you had you not had the Lugia.
Yeah. Lugia was definitely
I feel like
the
my
biggest factor to my success. Besides Alakazam.
that thing kind of
credit to Alakazam.
that thing did help you out.
Focus Sash on Alakazam is amazing because he outspeeds most of your Pokemon already.
It does. I think the only one that it did not outspeed was Greninja. But when it comes down to my team, I kind of have trouble deciding who the MVP is because all 6 of my Pokemon were useful in their own right.
Yeah.
Because, let's see. Sableye was useful for taking out Ben's obnoxious Excadrill.
Yep.
Sableye was also the trump card to your Metagross and Lugia. Sableye was also very useful against Miguel's team. And Sableye also had immunity to Will's entire stab fighting moves. And Bisharp, I can give Bisharp credit against Miguel's Ludicolo because that was the only thing that my Bishop I had trouble killing on Miguel's team besides Kyogre.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kill the Kyogre, but I just lose 2 Pokemon in the process. And most of the time, it'd end up being Sableye, or it'd be Sableye and Absol that end up dying to the Kyogre.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
but I think that what's your MVP? I must ask. What is the Pokemon that you were able to go with the most, and what's the one that helped you the most?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because all 6 of my Pokemon were useful in very different situations. Absol and Bisharp were very helpful against Miguel's Ludicolo because they both had bug moves on them.
Yes.
Absol with Mega Horn and Bisharp with X-Scissor. So...
yeah.
They were really useful in taking that out. But Miguel's Ludicolo, it had a really bad weakness to the Yveltal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say when it comes down against the physical attacking teams, Crocodile would have been the MVP of those battles.
Oh, definitely.
Because being able to
Your Crocodile was able to 2-shot my Lugia with Life Orb.
I believe that wasn't even a Life Orb. I had black glasses on it the entire tournament.
Oh.
That I will give my Crocodile that much credit. I believe that thing I think that thing did the most damage to your Lugia than any other Pokemon walking into this tournament. Crocodile, it was able to take out Miguel's Empoleon, even with Defiant Boost. Crocodile was also able to take out Ben's Excadrill if I decided to use it.
Yeah.
Excadrill could also weaken down your Gardevoir to a point where I can kill it.
Yes, of course.
And then Crocodile was also able to shut down, I think, a few of Will's Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe when it comes down to the MVP seat on my team, it comes down to either Greninja, Yveltal, or Sableye.
Yes.
Because those 3 were all really useful. Sableye was able to stall Ben's Excadrill to the point where I could foul play it to death. Being able to Toxic Stall that Lugia down was also a pretty impressive feat.
Yes.
Sableye's entire purpose on my team was simply to stall. And it did fulfill that purpose. It stalled everything it was up against. So I feel like Greninja's up there as well because it was able to sweep Miguel's half of Miguel's team back to back. Protein was also a really strong ability to have.
Yes.
Because it changes not only my strengths but my weaknesses as well. I
considered adding Energy Ball to my Alakazam.
So you
I knew you might try Hydro Pump the first time.
Yeah. I don't think that would have... That would have worked because Alakazam has a super strong special attack stat. And then Energy Ball is already a stronger move than Grass Knot, which is what Miguel used on it, and I lived with half my health left.
Going back to your side.
And then finally, last but not least, is Yveltal. That thing was a monster.
Oh, it was definitely difficult to take care of.
Despite humiliating Will's entire team, Yveltal could also shut down my team's greatest threats, the fighting types. If there was a fighting type on the field that, Yveltal could outspeed, it was going for it. So...
Yes.
And until Yveltal was the only Pokemon on my team that even had a chance of sweeping yours. And while it didn't fully sweep you, I feel like it just mowed down your team until Lugia came out.
Yes.
Because once Lugia came out, it was pretty much a war of attrition.
Oh, yeah.
So, when it comes down to my team, I think I'm going to call it a tie between Greninja and Yveltal.
Oh, of course.
Just because of, how much power those two had. And, I would be... And, I'd be very scared if somebody were to bring it... If, Elijah were to bring in Yveltal as his legendary. But at the same time, he also gets Lugia as an option. Both Yveltal and Lugia were probably the aces of both of our teams. And they just straight up, bam, dead, everything. So, I feel like... So whether it comes down to Greninja's protein or Yveltal and its stats, Yveltal has good everything. Yveltal can be whatever you want it to be. It has a good amount of HP. It has shockingly great attack power. Its special attacks through the roof. It can take a special hit as well.
Yep.
And then its speed is just top notch.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty much grand finals. SilverOrpheus, take the tournament. But I really, really did have fun that entire tournament.
Yeah. It was a fun tournament.
It was, and going to this next one, it's just gonna be it's gonna be amazing.
I'm electric, boy.
I'm bug.
I got a type disadvantage against most of the people here.
I wouldn't say it's that bad compared to me, because either Elijah's gonna beat Ben, which I think he might, and then he's gonna end... Here's the thing, Elijah's in a very good seat right now.
Yes, he is.
Because Elijah gets to fight Ben's grass team first, and then he gets to deal with me and my bug team. That's not gonna be fun. So, me and Ben are gonna be going down to losers very early. Most likely.
Yeah, that's probably very likely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to struggle with down the bracket because I know one of the people who's probably going to be down there is Will, and he's got ground.
Oh yeah, Will has ground. That's obnoxious.
And then I have to try and fight you early as soon as possible, almost.
Well, I doubt
Or winner between Ben and Elijah and you, which isn't going to be fun.
I need to look at the bracket. In fact, now that I'm done with the showdown and stuff, let's go ahead and check that out. So yeah, here's my Discord. Like, you can see, like, everybody's here. So let's go into Pokemon. That is, like, a very blurry bracket. Like, I cannot see that.
I think the worst part about it is his phone's at 37% and he only has 2 internet bars.
That could likely be it. But let's see, like, what we can, like... So that's Ben and Elijah. Winner of that's going to play me. You play Caleb?
Yes, first.
Wait, what type does Caleb have?
Fairy.
Fairy? I can see that going either way. Then it's Jude and Will. Jude... Oh, here we go. This is much better. Here we go.
Better bracket?
No, like better, much better quality. So Jude and Will, so that's gonna be ice versus ground. I feel like Jude's gonna win that one.
I feel like Jude's going to win, especially since he uses very, very good strategies.
That, and not only well, he has a type advantage, but then again, type advantages kind of mean nothing. I mean, you and I both kind of proved that.
Yeah. Miguel and Jackson right after that.
That's Rock and
Poison.
Rock and Poison. I feel like
that's gonna be fun.
Well, Miguel can Toxic Stall, but Jackson does have access to Tyranitar, who can learn Earthquake.
Yeah. Let's hope he has Earthquake on his team anyway.
He probably will. I don't think Jackson's that gullible.
Well, I'm just kidding.
I mean, he did put Horndrill on a Tyrantrum, so...
Yeah, it's not cool. You just shouldn't do that. Honestly, of all the types, I really did want Poison.
I wanted Ground or Poison.
Poison just sounds like a type that'll be very effective. It just sounds logical.
Also, I just realized, if anybody were to join the tournament right now, they'd end up getting normal.
Oh boy.
Because that's the only type left.
Fun. You don't see a lot of poison types being used a lot, so...
I actually have one on my team.
Say, an opportunity for a lot of people to, I guess, express their toxic love.
I have a poison type on my team. Scolipede.
Ooh.
Scolipede's nice. It gets nice toxic. He has really powerful bug and poison attacks, and it also gets and it also has access to the speed boost ability.
Now that's a Pokemon.
Oh, it is. Bug was a very interesting type because I found like really weird combinations of bug Pokemon. I found some bug steel types, bug fire types, bug water types. Everything
That's
bug.
Interesting types.
Yeah. And one Pokemon that I saw was a must on my team, Volcarona. Bug Fire, it can learn Quiver Dance, and it also has like very powerful stab fire attacks, which can cover just about anything that I'm weak to.
Oh, Volcarona is such a good Pokemon.
Oh, it is.
Especially since it negates one of Bug's most chronic weaknesses, fire.
Oh, it does. Like, yeah, it gains a type resistance to that.
I would kill to have Volcarona on my Bug team. In fact, Volcarona and Caesar are probably the 2 best Pokemon a Bug team could ever have.
I'm actually going to check my team, because I know that my Mega happens to be a very powerful one. I have a Mega Pinsir.
Mega Pinsir.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You know, have you ever thought how weird Bug type really is?
Oh, yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now. There's a bug type that I may or may not have turned into a combination between Ben Skarmory and your Lugia.
Oh boy, tell me about it.
very high defenses, solid HP, no attack power.
That sounds fun.
It just exists to kill.
I'd imagine.
And not only that, it has the contrary ability, and it can learn Shell Smash.
Oh no. Now that recipe for disaster. What
Yeah.
Pokemon is it, out of curiosity?
Shuckle. So what Shell Smash does is that it lowers its defense and special defense by 1 stage, but it raises attack and special attack and speed by 2. With Contrary, it's the exact opposite, so it raises my defenses even further and it lowers my attacks.
It's Crustle or Shuckle, correct?
I have Shuckle.
Shuckle. Well, doesn't Contrary mean that also your attack will go down?
It does, but that doesn't matter because I don't have a single attacking move on this thing now.
Oh, this thing's going. That would be invincible.
I can tell you this thing's moveset right now. Stealth Rock, Sticky Web, Shell Smash, and Toxic.
Oh my god.
It just exists, and you're not getting rid of it.
I may just have to steal that idea from you if I ever get the chance.
Also, I realize that it's part Rock type, meaning Jackson can run this exact same Pokemon as well. Oh god.
Oh lord, I hope it doesn't.
Like, it doesn't matter. Because, like, the best thing that, Shuckle can get for an attacking move is Rock Slide.
Yeah.
I may or may not have a Pokemon that's part Steel type with a Water move.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Although the problem is that 2 of my Pokemon are quite weak to Rock, so I'm really gonna have to pull this stall off.
I'd say so. It's gonna be difficult.
It's either constantly switching to hit the Sticky Web Stealth Rock combo or get Toxic stalled.
Oh boy. Now Bug is a pretty fragile type, and Bug Rock is probably
It's fragile.
Pretty safely, but it's probably not a very good type combination.
No, it's not. Although it is good in the fact that that the Bug type resists ground for some reason.
Gee.
So
weird.
it has that going for it, but at the same time it has Bug also resists